Okay, well, we'll get started here. Okay, he left early. Live early and watching the Zelensky-Trump fight. Oh, they canceled the press conference? They canceled the press conference? Oh my God. Okay, well, sorry, I apologize. I didn't know they canceled the fucking press conference. And Trump actually kicked him out. I knew they fought. I didn't realize he just got kicked. Oh my God, this literally just happened. Okay, I thought I was actually paying attention to what oh my God. 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 I'm behind. Oh my God. Okay, yeah, I understand why people were like, no personal news. God damn. Bro, what the hell? What the hell? What a crazy way to start the day. Holy moly. It's bedlam. It's bedlam. It's bedlam. It's bedlam. It's bedlam. But yeah, Truanon on later to discuss MAGA, Epstein, Fallout, and more. Get in now. Holy moly, what a crazy day. What a crazy day! Ah! Okay, let's watch. So Trump meets Zelensky. Okay, Disney comes in. All right, he comes in, and for all intents and purposes, I'm going to set the stage for all of you. Okay, I'm going to set the stage for all of you. So this is supposed to be coming off the heels of weeks and weeks of Donald Trump calling Zelensky a dictator, saying he sucks, saying he ain't shit, saying Zelensky's got no bitches, constantly talking about how Zelensky's short, you know, all this stuff. Okay, he's like, you got no money, no bitches, no job prospects, and you're a dictator. That's what Donald Trump is saying over and over again. And in the process, there's also this mineral deal that's, being floated around where Trump is like, I'm going to take all your raw earth. I'm going to hit that earth raw. He just keeps saying, I'm going to hit the earth raw. I have your minerals. I'm going to take it. Okay. I'm going to take all of your minerals. There's nothing you can do about it. And it's weird because, like, we don't even know if there's a lot of minerals or whether or not they are even rare earth minerals. They're certainly raw, but I don't know if they're going to be rare earth minerals or not. And, regardless, he's like, Trump is saying, like, I want the minerals because we gave you so many weapons. We gave you all of our old busted ass equipment, and that was like $300 billion. Like, it's time to pay up, which is, pretty honest in terms of how American foreign policy normally works. But, like, obviously, optically speaking, probably not a very good deal. It's probably kind of a raw deal for Ukraine, but it was always slated to be a raw deal regardless. But now, after all of this, there's still this back and forth where there's this suspicion where Donald Trump, dials it back and says, like, no, did I call Zelensky a dictator yesterday or the other day or every single day since then? Ooh, was that me? I don't know. So, like, that's basically the last thing that happened before this this Zelensky conference was supposed to happen. He linked up with Keir Starmer, also known as Keir Stalin. He talked to Macron. Macron touched him in the leg, maybe even touched his heart. He's been talking to all the European heads while constantly talking about how he's going to tariff the shit out of our European allies, right? But when he did the whole, did I do that thing? I thought to myself, like, okay, he's probably going to go back on this stuff. He's just playing hardball. He's going to give them more old weapons and tell them, like, they can continue fighting or whatever until they just, like, inevitably come to a ceasefire negotiation, a bargain, like, going along with the other side of the Brandonian policy, right? And boy, was I wrong. I didn't think that this would happen. Okay, I'll admit. A lot of you look to me and say, Hasan, you apply the scientific dialectical materialist analysis to things that are happening all around the world, and you are at least relatively knowledgeable when it comes to issues like Israel, Palestine, and seemingly this is very helpful in making accurate assessments or even sometimes predictions. But when it comes down to Donald Trump, especially in the way that he's dealt with this Zelensky stuff, it is utterly unpredictable. Okay? It is completely unpredictable. This is the Nixonian madman theory in action, but this time it's actually a madman. Like there is no IR interpretation for the way that Donald Trump operates. I'll say it. Okay? There's no he has redefined the genre. Okay? He has redefined the entire genre. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, ain't nobody can make, like, there's no realpolitik. Okay? There's no realpolitik here. There's no fucking there's no constructionist the way of approaching it. There's no Marxist interpretation for international relations here. It's just Trump. Okay? It's just Trump, and he might say some shit. He might turn back on it. But yeah. Let me explain to you what happened to the best of my ability, because it's virtually impossible to truly come to terms with what the fuck happened here. So after Zelensky comes over to the White House and we're like, okay, there's gonna be a fucking mineral deal. Is this going to end up with more weapons for Ukraine? Or is this going to end up with like a finalized, ceasefire bargain or anything like that? It turns out, no. It's a secret third option. Okay? It's a secret third option that virtually no one could have seen. Okay? Like, what the hell, bro? Let's watch. Truly a nutty moment in American politics, okay? All right, so they come in.
What's your message for them?
Well, if I didn't align myself with both of them, you'd never have a deal. You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal? That doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America. And for the good of the world, I'm aligned with the world. And I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous...
Bro, there is nothing funnier than the camera panning over to Zelensky. He's like, you can't... I don't like the guy, but what are you going to do? He is a victim here. He's a hostage, like the January 6th hostages. He's held a hostage. The entire world has been so unfair to Vladimir. They've been so unfair to him. All he wanted to do was denazify Ukraine. He wanted to do a special military operation to denazify Ukraine. I tell you, folks, Nazis, not very fine people on both sides, okay? Let me tell you, he just wanted to denazify. Also, Slava Ukraini, that's a hate crime. Let me tell you, everybody knows 14,000 people died in Donbass. All the people in LPR and DPR, all they wanted to do was maintain independence. They had Russian roots. Alexander Dugin. What accent is that? I'm so hopped up that I can't even do a good Trump right now. Okay? Many people are saying I'm a Duginist. What's wrong with that? He's got some good ideas, folks. They did the Tsar so wrong. He had great ideas. He was going to fix the Russian Empire. All these peasants, the Bolshevik Revolution, very unacceptable. Don't we hate it, folks? That's why I like Putin. He's going to restore it.
Tremendous hatred. And I understand that, but I can tell you the other side is exactly in love with him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe.
With the world.
I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me?
Wait, it's at 120. What do you mean? Like you want me to go more? Why do you want me to go further? Like, it's fine. I want to hear the rest. I want to hear this.
I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way. So that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
Hey, I will respond to this. So look, for 4 years.
Okay, shut up. Why are you there? Who's this man? Who is this guy? Does anybody know who this guy is? I don't know who the fuck this guy is. Who the fuck is this guy? Why are you in the room, dog? The fuck is your purpose? Excuse me. Where is the real president? Where is Elon Musk? Why is Elon Musk not in the room? Who the frick is this guy thinking he can have a moment in the spotlight? Like, don't try to clip farm, okay? You're not FaZe Ronaldo, little bro, okay? You're not Lacey. You can't. You are not the clip. Don't come in here to be like, oh, let me get a couple licks in on Zelensky so that people can talk about me too. Like, get the frick out of here, dude. Anyway, sorry.
Years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the president of the United States' words mattered more than the president of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
He admitted Putin invaded Ukraine. Yeah, he has. That's why he's there, by the way. He's the moderating voice. He is the moderating voice. He put his freaking eyeliner on this morning thinking to himself, I'm really going to have my moment here, okay? I'm going to play both sides here. I'm going to say the truth about the matter while Donald Trump says insane stuff. But just wait. Because Donald Trump doesn't like this, okay? He doesn't like being around beta men, okay? Beta males. He is not a fan. He is not a fan of beta males. And now he's surrounded by two, okay? Donald Trump, the GOAT, Mr. MAGA, Mr. Alpha Dog, okay? Surrounded by not one, but two.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to have President Zelensky.
Wait, why don't I want to see what Zelensky says here and then
Sure.
Trump's reaction.
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now the President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact line?
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2014.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, yeah, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him. Me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed with him with gas contract. Gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people.
He does not want to hear any of this, bro. He's like, bro, stop talking. He's like, stop talking. Like, you ain't even, he's like, you ain't even funny. He's like, you ain't even funny. I've seen your comedies. I didn't like them. I didn't like your comedies.
Of Ukraine.
All right, let's watch this. This is like the full vid, okay? This is the chaos.
Been working.
He does
very
not
hard,
want to hear even a second, okay?
very close. So we've actually known each other for a long time. We've been dealing with each other for a long time and very well. We had a little negotiation spat, but that worked out great. I think for both countries. I think for the world, actually, beyond both countries. And we have something.
This isn't funny to me. I am too woke. Brother, there is virtually nothing we can do about American foreign policy decisions. Okay? Nothing. Do you understand? Nothing. It is not a democracy. Please make no mistake. There is no democratic process here. There is no morality here. I'm using this as an opportunity for everyone to recognize the reality. Okay? Recognize the reality. There is a reason why American foreign policy has left behind so many countries in rubble, which then turn those American weapons formerly used against American adversaries on America. Okay? How do you think 9/11 happened? Like, what do you think was 9/11? 9/11 is literally the precursory to 9/11, but this time happening in an Eastern European country. Straight up. And I've been this is basically, you remember that tweet from that one journalist who was like, I've been investigating this story for years and years, and he just tweeted it? That's how I feel. That's how I feel when I watch these things unfold. Because for years and years, I have been critical of American foreign policy for being so violent and so cruel and not even caring remotely about the humanity of the people that we just use like a dish rag, okay? Only to have those people understandably develop resentment towards us or even other allies, expressions of American empire, and then eventually turn around and turn the same weapons that we gave them on us, okay? That's it. This is exactly what happened with Operation Cyclone. There's a reason why this meme exists, you know? The whole, eventually they'll turn on you, the meme that I used on my blast off tweet as well. Okay, whether it be Manuel Noriega from U.S. Friend to Foe, whether it be Saddam Hussein, Osama bin Laden, Muammar Gaddafi, you know, this is how it works. This is the most consistent, most coherent American foreign policy. Do you understand? That's why I always say, hey, listen, if you're leftist, you're right, just too early. Okay? Joe Biden fucked over Ukraine? Of course Joe Biden fucked over Ukraine. Yes. And Trump is basically just full tilt finishing the job.
Very fair deal. And we look forward to getting in and digging and working and getting some of the rare earth. But it means we're going to be inside, and it's a big commitment from the United States, and we appreciate working with you very much. And we will continue to do that.
Sean Raid, thank you for the raid, Sean. Hope you had a good stream, brother.
With Russia, I spoke with President Putin, and we're going to try and bring this to a close. It's something that you want and that he wants. We have to negotiate a deal, but we've started the confines of a deal, and I think something can happen. The big thing is the number of soldiers, mostly at this point, but soldiers being killed. You're losing thousands of soldiers. So on both sides, we're losing a lot of soldiers, and we want to see it stop. And we want to see the money get put to different kinds of use, like rebuilding. And we're going to be working very hard. But we've had a lot of very good conversations. I will say until we came along, the Biden administration didn't speak to Russia whatsoever. They didn't speak to anybody. They just allowed this to continue. And I will say that I'll say in front of you. You've heard me say it 1,000 times. If I were president, this war would have never happened. We would have had a deal negotiated for you without having to go through what you've gone through. But your soldiers have been unbelievably brave. We've given them great equipment, but somebody has to use the equipment. They've been unbelievably brave, and we give them great credit. This was supposed to be over very quickly, and here we are 3 years later. So I give tremendous credit to your generals and your soldiers and yourself in the sense that it's been very hard fighting, very tough fighting. They're great fighters. And you have to be very proud of them from that standpoint. But now we want to get it over with. It's enough, right? We want to get it over with. So,
yeah. So it starts off relatively normal, from what I understand. Relatively normal. Okay. There's like a little bit of like pushback. Okay. There's a little bit of a history lesson from Zelensky. Of course, the entire press conference that's taken place here, this entire meeting that's happening here, is happening on the backdrop of Donald Trump's insane actions in terms of foreign policy, voting alongside Russia and North Korea and Belarus to say they're not condemning Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which was already a symbolic gesture to begin with, right? Those are symbolic votes in general, but they matter when America obviously completely changes its alignment. Donald Trump is calling Zelensky a dictator over and over again, saying he sucks over and over again, saying like, we're going to take all your minerals, all this stuff. And then seemingly it falls apart.
It's an honor to have you here. Thank you very much.
It's so bad. Even most of Asmongold's chat is saying Trump L. Yes, because Asmongold is pro-Ukraine. He's pro, I think, what is it? Like he's on Ukraine, on the issue of healthcare, on the issue of like some left-wing populist sentiment. He is not on board with Trump, but it's not enough to like be a spoiler for him. That's it.
For coming. We're going to sign the agreement at the conference in the East Room in a little while, right after lunch. And we'll be having lunch together. We're also discussing some other things. And we appreciate everybody being here. It's somewhat of an exciting moment, but the really exciting moment is when they stop the shooting and we end up with a deal. And I think we're fairly close to getting that. And an honor to have you. And please, I'd like to say something.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. President. Thank you for invitation. And really, I hope that this first document, will be first step to real security guarantees for Ukraine, our people, our children. I really count on it. And of course, we count that America will not stop support. Really, for us, it's very important to support and to continue it. I want to discuss it with details further during our conversation, and of course the infrastructure or security guarantees, because for today I understand what Europe is ready to do, and of course I want to discuss with you what United States will be ready to do. And I really count on your strong position to stop Putin, and you said that enough with the war. I think that is very important, Ben, to say these words to Putin at the very beginning of war, because he is a killer and terrorist. But I hope that together we can stop him. But for us, it's very important to, to save our country, our values, our freedom, and democracy, and of course, no compromises with the killer about our territories. But it will be later. And of course, what I wanted, we spoke about it by phone with you about the drones production. We have very good drones production. I think the best one in the world for today because of the war. Yes, and of course, we need very much the air defense. You have the best air defense in the world, and really you helped us under attacks of Russians. And I want to speak how we can exchange the licenses. We're open to share the license.
Look at this asshole, by the way. Every moment of his life, like we know who this demon is, okay? And we know who this demon is. He's just a brown noser. But this demon is still very much an old school American war hawk. 99 votes in the Senate, including Bernard Sanders, by the way. Remember, that's how uniparty American foreign policy is, okay? He has an image to project. He has an image to maintain. And he's just sitting there being like, I really hope that this doesn't get out of hand because Donald Trump is a little crazy. He's a little crazy. And he's just sitting there, okay? Pants riding all the way up to his goddamn knees like a little boy.
Licenses of all our drones with you, of course, with the United States, and we need licenses for quick production of air defense. Even after the war, we need our nation to be calm, that we are secured. So that's why we need this air shield. And of course, about this, I want to speak about the contingents. I think that France and UK already spoke to you. And we know that Europe is ready, but without the United States, they will not be ready to be as strong as we need. And the last point, last not least, about exchange, about our people and children. And you know that this crazy Russian, that they stolen 20,000 of children, Ukrainian children. They changed their names, they changed their families, relatives, and now they're in Russia. We want to bring them back. And really, it's a big dream, task, and goal for me, and our warriors. By the way, Mr. President, we exchanged.
Not a great day for the Zelensky was installed by the Americans crowd.
Warriors from Russian prison, but there are thousands more in the prison. I wanted to share with you some images. How it's just.
They're not going to win that stupid war. Russia's going to win. No, nobody. Only America wins.
1 minute.
In this situation.
To understand in what circumstances, in what situation they are, and what the attitude of Russia to our prisoners. That guys, just you before and after. And you see before and after, just you to understand. Now thousands of such guys, ladies and men, there. And so they don't eat, they beat them, and they do a lot of bad things.
By the way, I do want to mention something here, but like this is like Israel stuff that he's doing here, but these guys don't care. They don't care. You can literally show the brutality in I mean, and the previous administration didn't care either. They just used it to keep saying, no, we're on the morally correct side here, but also give us the minerals, please. Like, that would be sick. But that's it. They didn't care either, but they at least operated on the boundaries of caring. They didn't care, but they at least would use it as a way to explain why they were aligning with Ukraine in the way that they were aligning with Ukraine. Donald Trump, on the other hand, does not give a fuck. You could show him open graves from Bucha, and he would just look at it and be like, I don't care. You shouldn't have had people there. You shouldn't have had people there ready to be invaded and killed. Like, he just does not care. He is an animal, okay? What? Libs of TikTok, Lamau?
That are lost every year in Medicaid.
Hassan Piker just called for violence against a sitting U.S. senator. If you cared about Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott. No, I'm not saying you should do that. I'm saying that if he did, he would apply capital punishment to Rick Scott. Yes. At FBI. I can't even respond to this because this dumbass blocked me. I guess I could. Anyway, let's continue.
Things
at FBI.
So out of, even during the war, there are rules. Everybody knows there are rules during the war. So these guys, they don't have any rules. You see that 50, 60 kilograms left, and a lot of such things. And I didn't want to show you what the changes with images of children, because I will share with you. I mean, it's looking tragic.
Yep, it's tough stuff.
Yeah, I wanted very much to give you, and you see it.
Yeah.
This is pastor, by the way. They stolen pastors because it's not Russian church. It's stolen pastors and moved pastors to the prison. We, at the end of last year, we brought 3 pastors, and we could exchange them. But this is pastor, you see.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, so I mean, this I wanted to show you, and this. So thank you very much.
We want to get that entered, right?
Yeah, of course, we will.
I think we will. And
We have to, of course.
do you have any questions, please?
Mr. President, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. With the, how much money is the U.S. going to put into the fund that is being created today, and how does this provide long-term security for Ukraine?
Well, we don't know exactly how much because we're going to be putting some money in a fund that we're going to get from the raw earth that we're going to be taking and.
Yeah, so the raw earth. Oh my God, why am I saying raw earth now? I love that he says it like he. Why has no one stopped him from saying this? It's now official lexicon. I'm saying it too. Oh my God. Raw earth. The raw earth. Earth is raw. God damn. You doing okay, brother? I mean, I'm doing fine. I don't know how more. I don't know how anyone could be doing okay in these circumstances, but raw earth. Okay. Anyway, he's talking about raw earth. We're going to extract the raw earth. Initially, I thought the way Donald Trump presented this, I thought that he meant, you know, he's getting 50% of their minerals, rare earth minerals, not raw earth minerals, specifically for all of the weapons that they've sent thus far. Now, it seems like it is for the additional weapons that they might send to Ukraine, except according to Caitlin Collins, who was in the room, no deal was signed. So we don't even know if that's currently on the table.
Sharing in terms of revenue. So it's going to be a lot of money will be made from the sale and from the use of raw earth. And as you know, our country doesn't have much raw earth. We have a lot of oil.
Yeah, I know. He ate it.
Gas,
he ate it big time.
But we don't have a lot of the raw earth. And what we do have is protected by the environmentalists, but that can be unprotected. But still, it's not very much. They have among the best in the world in terms of raw earth. So we're going to be using that, taking it, using it for all of the things we do, including AI and including weapons and the military, and it's really going to very much satisfy our needs. So it's something that just worked out really well. We have a lot of oil, we have a lot of gas, we have a lot, but we don't have raw earth. So this has just about every component of the raw earth that we need for computers, for all.
He keeps going. He just keeps saying raw earth. Why is nobody? Okay, whatever. How are you going to even what? That's not even the most significant part of this conversation. Sorry, it's just. Let's just keep going. Sorry, I apologize for caring about this. It's so stupid. It's so stupid to care about this.
I think they're going to have great luck. I think once we make the agreement, that's going to be 95% of it. They're not going to go back to fighting. I've spoken with President Putin. And I feel very strong. I've known them for a long time, and I feel very strongly that they're very serious about it, and we'll make a deal. And when the deal is made, I don't think we talk about security. Everyone's talking about the other day. All they talked about was security. I said, let me make the deal first. I have to make the deal first. I don't worry about security right now. We have to have a deal because right now, last week, 2,000 soldiers died on both sides, 2,000, and they're losing 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 a week. So as we sit here and we talk, people are getting shot and dying on the battlefield. And, you know, they're not American soldiers, but they're Russian soldiers and they're Ukrainian soldiers, and we want to be able to stop it.
But
and we want to be able also to spend money on other things. We don't want to, this is a tremendous amount of money. And what the Biden administration did was terrible. They were giving money, but he had no security on the money. Europe, as you know, gave much less money, but
him starting with the Russian soldiers, it's also indicative of what his position is. But it's kind of funny where he goes, what Biden did was terrible. And why what Biden did was terrible was not because like he didn't force Ukraine and Russia to come to the table for a ceasefire when Ukraine had more leverage. What Biden did wasn't terrible because he didn't actually hastily bring forth enough weapons that Ukraine could defend itself with initially when there were more people in Ukraine, when they had more of a standing military that hadn't been destroyed. He didn't, like, those weren't the reasons, right? Those were not the reasons why Biden was terrible. It was because he didn't get assurances for the old-ass weapons that we dumped into fucking Ukraine that the military-industrial complex was able to get an incredible return off of. Like, those, that's the real reason. The real reason is he just didn't, like, farm Ukraine harder, which he did. Of course, Biden farmed Ukraine as well, just like Donald Trump is doing. Okay? The only difference here is he didn't actively come out and regularly be like, Zelensky sucks. That's the only difference. That's it. But for him, the biggest crime for Biden, I guess, was that he wasn't aggressive enough with Ukraine, which is a crazy thing.
They had security. It was in the form of a loan. They get their money back, and we didn't. And now, at least we're protected because the American taxpayer has to be protected too. But this is an incredible agreement for Ukraine because we have a big investment in their country now, and what they have, very few people have. And we're able to really go forward with very, very high-tech things and many other things, including weaponry that we're going to use in many locations, but that we need for our country. This allows us to do this.
But Mr. President,
Will you continue? I'm sorry.
Sending military aid. Yes, go ahead, please.
If I can just add, yes. In the document, there is one of the very important points. If we speak about business and investment, we never had LNG terminals in Ukraine. This document will open. I mean, the next document, but anyway, here we see in the framework, we see a really goodwill for this. LNG terminals.
This is a disgrace that the U.S. is extorting an ally for its minerals while we are under attack from a brutal dictatorship. You're suggesting that Biden and Trump are essentially the same? That's a gross mischaracterization of reality. Brother, what are you talking about? Biden and his team also were quietly, like, read reports on this, please, from American news outlets. Biden and his team also were trying to do the same exact mineral deal. Okay? The only difference between Biden and Trump is that Trump is a fucking psycho and will actively undermine Ukraine, even though they are not only the wronged party here, but also the ally in this equation. That's the major difference. Okay? But in terms of like the mineral deals that we're talking about here, it's do you still believe American foreign policy is uniparty? Yes. The broad strokes of American foreign policy is uniparty. Republicans, and this is something that I consistently explain to you guys, and I think it just like gets lost in translation or something. American foreign policy is uniparty. However, Republicans are the accelerant. They come into power and they just pull it all the way. They just go crazy mode with it. The direction is still the same. Republicans just accelerate. And then Democrats, when they come into power, don't actually reverse that trajectory. There are very rare exceptions for this. But beyond like the denuclearization agreement with Iran that Barack Obama put in place, or normalizing relations with Cuba that Barack Obama also did, there are very few instances where the Democratic administration, Biden's administration, that came in after, for example, Trump's administration, Biden's administration did not actually reverse the trajectory of every single thing that the Trump admin had done prior, especially as it pertains to Israel, for example. Okay? This is open. Like, this is open in broad daylight. How does this not come across as even remote? Like, how does it not shock you when he's doing it? Yes, there's a big difference between trying to use a little leverage for a mineral deal, sitting down with Putin without Zelensky there. I think the goals are the same, but the method of execution matter. No, I agree with you. I don't disagree with you on that at all. I think optics when it comes to soft power and diplomacy are profoundly important. I think at the end of the day, the outcome was still the same for Ukraine. Having said that, however, the optics do matter because if America does not even care about presenting itself as like a peacekeeping nation, then all of a sudden our European allies are going to look at that and go, oh my God, these guys are saying it. These guys are going to fuck us over. They've been fucking us over, as a matter of fact. People are going to catch up to that reality. Okay? This is what I've been saying since day one, since Trump took office. His mismanagement on the Ukraine side of the bargain has been ridiculous. He could have Zelensky there at the table every day of the week. He doesn't have to undermine Zelensky at all. Whatever he says goes regardless. America holds all the cards in this equation. Having said that, however, he could just as easily bring Zelensky to the table in front of Vladimir Putin. The choice not to do so is important. It is definitely different than what Biden would have done if he ever actually wanted to put forth a ceasefire negotiation. He should have, okay? That was my big problem with Biden's administration when it came to Israel and Gaza. That is exactly my big problem with the Biden administration when it came to Ukraine and Russia. A lot of people yelled at me at the time, but Ukraine had significantly more leverage in the initial phases of the invasion to actually put together a much more comprehensive and much better ceasefire proposal, and the Biden administration was not even remotely interested in it. It's not benefit of hindsight either, for the record, because it wasn't hindsight at the time I said it. And plenty of other people said it too. That's why I get so mad when people go, this is hindsight. It's like, what do you mean hindsight? Virtually every pro-Ukrainian channel and account yelled at me and said I was fucking dick riding Vladimir Putin. I loved Adolf Hitler. And it wasn't just me. There were plenty of people that made this exact same call. You called Ukrainians Nazis? Brother, there have been 7 quintillion moments where I have actively noted that the denazification argument from Adolf Hitler was not even remotely appropriate, okay? Shut the fuck up. Yes, the existence of Azov Battalion does not change that dynamic. Shut up. You called Ukrainians Nazis. I didn't call Ukrainians Nazis, you dipshit. You just got fucking clip farmed because you're a moron. And right now, things are happening and unfolding in front of your eyes that you can't contend. So what do? You lash out at me, okay? Dog watched one clip 3 years ago, and even before then.
For us, it's very important. And
there's nothing funnier than Donald Trump basically exploding the ceasefire negotiation that he himself put into place, and there's still sex pestiny dick riders in my fucking chat trying to get a clip out to be like, you called Ukrainians Nazis. Ukraine is literally fucking collapsing, and these guys are more worried about trying to get a clip off. Okay? Oh, I hope he responds to me so I can farm an out of context clip. Like, how you lock in, please? Holy shit!
Of European continent. We have the biggest storage, gas storage. We have the biggest in Europe. Yes, and we can use it. You use it for LNG. We use it for LNG, and we will do it. And really, we can help Europe because Europe really helped. President Trump said that they made less support, but they have our friends and they are our very supportive partners. They really gave a lot, Mr. President. They did.
They gave a lot, but they gave much less.
No.
Much less.
No. No.
Don't argue.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
But Mr. President, Mr. President,
Yeah, please.
Mr. President Trump, you have repeatedly called the deal with Ukraine as a historical one. And as a president of the United States, you make historical decisions in other issues which affect America and other world. So what place in the world history do you want to take? And do you associate yourself with any famous historical figures?
Yeah, I'd say George Washington, Abraham Lincoln. I would say I'm far superior to George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. Now, you know I'm only kidding, right? Because when I say that, the fake news is going to go wild. They're going to say he considers himself to be better than Washington. But you never know. You never know. I don't compare myself to anybody. I'm here to do a job. We've had a great 35 days or whatever it might be, a month, a little more than a month. We've accomplished tremendous amounts. Not only this would be a very great achievement if we could get the war stopped and get them back to normalization. I think that's going to happen. We've had very good talks on both sides, as you know. But I think we've done a very good job, just generally. If you look at all of the things we've done in 30 days, they're saying there's never been a opening for a president. The first month, there's never been a first month like we've had. And this is one of the very important things. This, to me, is one of the most important things because we have tremendous death taking place as we speak, and I don't want to have that. You know, think of the parents, whether they're in Russia or Ukraine, think of the parents of all these people being killed needlessly.
They came to our territory.
Should have never started. This would have, if I were president, this would have never started.
Mr. President Trump,
will you continue sending military aid to Ukraine after the U.S. signs this agreement with Ukraine?
Yeah, we're going to be continuing.
President Zelensky, do you feel like the U.S. is on your side, that President Trump is on your side at this moment?
What do you think?
He wants to know, do you think that, sort of a stupid question. I guess we wouldn't be here if I wasn't. But,
I think that the United States on our side from the very beginning of occupation, and I think that President Trump on our side, and of course, I'm sure that the United States President will not stop support. This is crucial for us. It's important for us. Yes. And Putin, the president speaks about the people and the soldiers which are dying, but they came to our territory, they came to our land. They began this war, and they have to stop. And I think this is the question, was really the most important question. Can President Trump, I hope yes, with some other allies, to stop Putin, withdraw these enemies, our enemy, withdraw these troops from our land? And I think that you asked about the history, I think that if President, or when, he will stop Putin, if President Trump will bring peace to our country, I think he will be on this wall.
We've had very, very good talks.
Mr. President,
what about military aid to Ukraine?
President Zelensky just said that there'll be no compromises with Vladimir Putin. I just wanted to ask both of you, firstly, are there compromises that you think that President Zelensky is going to have to make? And President Zelensky, is there anything that you think that you may be able to offer or bring to the table, for example, elections? Thank you.
I think you're going to have to always make compromises. You can't do any deals without compromises. So certainly he's going to have to make some compromises, but hopefully they won't be as big as some people think you're going to have to make. That's all. It's all we can do. I'm here as an arbitrator, as a mediator to a certain extent between two parties that have been very hostile, to put it mildly. They've been very hostile. There's been a vicious war. There's been a vicious war. You know, it's a very level battlefield, and those bullets go out, and as I've said many times, we were talking about it with Pete, many times the only thing stopping those bullets is a human body. And in the case we're talking about, generally young human bodies are stopping a lot of bullets. It's
a poet,
dead level. That's why,
a real poet, dude. Trump is a real poet. Okay, flat land. Only thing that stops a bullet is a human body.
Farmland. It's great land. It's great farmland, but there's very little protection against the bullets that are being and other things that are being shot. So all I can do is see if I can get everybody.
I'm fully on his side, and I don't think he said anything was wrong, but do you feel like, given how important U.S. aid is to Ukraine, Zelensky should have acted differently, glaze Trump/USA more? There is nothing. I just tweeted about this, actually. Interesting question, but there is literally nothing Zelensky can do. Nothing in this equation that will stop Trump and his admin from humiliating him. Obviously, our proxies are always powerless in these circumstances, but the decorum is totally broken. No care for diplomacy. The end of American soft power. He did. He literally glazed them. He at 11:30, 30 minutes ago, Zelensky still posted a tweet being like, "Thank you so much, Mr. America. Thank you so much, at POTUS, for kicking me out. It is okay. We love America." Like, it does not matter. He was glazing him. He was glazing him the whole time. He was. What do you want him to do? What more can he do? He could literally get on his hands and knees and suck Trump off, and it still would not change this dynamic. Look, this is basically the proverbial getting on your hands and knees and sucking Trump off. He said, "Thank you, America. Thank you for your support. Thank you for this visit. Thank you, POTUS, Congress, and the American people. Ukraine needs just and lasting peace, and we are working exactly for that." What do you think this is? This is after he got kicked out, bro. This is after he got kicked out. This is literally a man who is on his hands and knees. And the reality of the matter is, the power dynamic has always been this way. Okay? It has always been this way. The difference here is Donald Trump is not even trying to maintain any sort of like optical illusion that we are here, we're in it for defending Ukraine. We're in it for helping Ukraine. Okay? We're in it to help Ukraine out in any capacity. He's just actively saying, nope, not even a little bit. No more carrots, only sticks, okay? Understand that in terms of the power dynamic between America and Ukraine, this has always been the case. Oh my God. Breaking. NBC reports that the U.S. State Department is ending support for Ukraine's power grid restoration. It is so insane. It is so insane. Are you pro-Ukraine regardless of this? Just curious. What do you mean pro-Ukraine regardless of this? I've always been pro-Ukraine. The Ukrainian people are the ones who are getting fucked over no matter which way this goes. They're either going to get fucked over by Russia or they're going to get fucked over by America. Right now, they're getting fucked over by both at the same time. And in ways that even I did not foresee. Like, this is beyond what I think, beyond what I foresaw happening. Like, it's unbelievable. It is new levels of depravity. Unbelievable shit. He is actively telling our European allies, especially, he's actively telling our European allies, like, you're next. You're fucked. I don't give a shit. I'm not going to help you. You better nut up. You better buy more American weapons pronto. You know, you're on your own. I don't care. This is a change in the trajectory of American foreign policy where we're not going to stop dominating the rest of the planet, obviously, but the ways in which American foreign policy is operated in perpetuity, whether it was the George W. Bush administration or the Obama administration or the Biden administration, American foreign policy has at least always had the image of helping people. America's the world police, but everyone is fine with that because they think like, yeah, you know, ultimately they have our best interest in mind. You know, we're all Western allies. We do it together. He's literally saying like, no, we've never been allies. Like he's dropping the pretext. No more facade. No, know your place. You are a colony. That's what he's saying. And I think this is genuinely worrisome. Okay. It's genuinely worrisome because I feel as though we're moving into the next phase of the downfall of American empire, where we will be actively and openly way more violent, way more selfish, way more ruthless. And there won't be any massaging of the truth. There won't be any optics for this. There won't be any like, this is the morally righteous position. Here is why. And do all of this like manufactured consent stuff. None of that. Just saying it's a protection racket and I want you to pay up right now. I don't care. Okay? There's never been a moment where I have advocated for full and utter humiliating surrender for the Ukrainian population. That's ridiculous. I think that a competent administration that came before this Trump one, the Biden administration, because remember, they were the foreign policy geniuses, right? Should have recognized that the upcoming administration is going to really escalate American foreign policy in a scary direction, okay? And not even shelter the world from the most damaging aspects of American imperialism and actively portray it as a good thing, and should have wrapped it up ahead of time, but they didn't. Part of the reason why they didn't is because they don't give a shit, okay? They don't care. The previous administration doesn't care either. They'll say they care on television, but they actually don't care. If they did, they would have wrapped it up. They have all the power. You think Trump is the most powerful American politician? Ukraine has many more soldiers than Russia. Russia is losing 6-1 in Ukraine, but you're wrong. Ukraine can easily defend for years without Russia. I don't know what to say to this insanity. I mean, this is, I guess, the other side of the consent manufacturing machine where you have deluded yourself.
At the table and get an agreement. And I think we're going to end up with an agreement. Otherwise, I wouldn't probably be even here today.
Will President Putin have to make compromises?
Mr. President, I've got two questions for you. You think ultimately your legacy will be the peacemaker and not the president that led?
This is Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend from literally OAN or Newsmax or one of those outlets, by the way. Those are the journalists who are asking these questions.
This country into another war and ended foreign wars. And I've got a question.
I hope it will. I mean, I hope I'm going to be remembered as a peacemaker. This would be a great thing if we could do this. I'm doing this to save lives more than anything else. Second is to save a lot of money, but I consider that to be far less important. So I hope I'm going to thank you, Brian, for that question. It was a nice question. I hope I'll be known and recognized as a peacemaker. This would be a great thing to solve. This is a very dangerous situation. You know, this could lead to a third world war. This was headed in the wrong direction. If this election were lost, if we didn't win this election, and by the way, we won it by a lot. That was a mandate. We won every swing state. We won the popular vote by millions and millions of votes. We won everything. The districts, you look at the areas of red, take a look at a map. This was a big mandate, and this was one of the things. I said, we're going to get this thing settled. If we didn't win, I think this could have very well ended up in a third world war, and that would not have been a good situation. What was your second question?
And my second question for President Zelensky. No. Why don't you wear a suit? Why don't you wear a suit? You're the highest.
That's crazy. Like, Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend is shitting on Zelensky in the Oval Office in front of the entire press pool, and J.D. Vance is laughing. The American vice president is laughing about it. Like, dude, that's so crazy. What do you mean? Like, that's a question that, like, that... Like, I get why it's funny to many people, but this is not the place for this. And they shouldn't be laughing. What the fuck?
Next level in this country's office, and you refuse to wear a suit. Just want to see if you own
like, getting humiliated like this, like being an American proxy aside, you are no longer just getting humiliated by the president. You're getting humiliated by a presidential dick rider who is like a drunk baboon, okay, whose claim to fame is fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm sorry, that is insane. Like, this is there is nothing lower than this, okay? You're getting shitted on by the court jester. Like, yeah, and you can tell it's definitely inappropriate because look at Marco Rubio, okay? Look at Marco Rubio versus this clown ass. Marco Rubio is like, finally, I have secured the reins of the American State Department, and it's under this administration. You know what I mean? I worked my entire life, worked my way up, okay? And here we are. Now I'm in an incredible position of power, and this is the administration that I'm a part of.
You have problems.
A lot of Americans have problems with you not
Really?
respecting.
I don't have
the
such.
office.
I will wear a costume after this war will finish.
Okay.
Yes, maybe one.
Maybe something like this?
something like
Yes,
yours.
sir.
Yes.
That'd be great.
Maybe something better. I don't know. We will see. Maybe something cheaper than. Yeah. Thank you.
President Trump, you said yesterday, thank you, President Trump. You said yesterday that you have.
Are you going to send more arms to Ukraine in case there's no peace?
Yeah, we're going to have arms to Ukraine, yeah, sure. Hopefully I won't have to send very much because hopefully we're going to have it finished. We're looking forward to finishing this quickly. We're not looking forward to sending a lot of arms. We're looking forward to getting the war finished so we can do other things. But we've...
You're going to play the Lindsey Graham clips on Fox News. Dude is a full-on Russian asset now, saying Zelensky should be replaced. Ukrainians reported in December that Putin was going to try and push him out, and then here we are today. Brother, Lindsey Graham is not a Russian asset. He is a Donald Trump asset, okay? Lindsey Graham quite literally used to be the best friend of the maverick John McCain. And then Donald Trump famously said, I like my war heroes that aren't captured. Lindsey Graham was very upset about that. That's his best friend. After John McCain died, Lindsey Graham has been up Trump's asshole, following every single thing that he says and does. Okay? Lindsey Graham will say whatever Trump is saying. He will just parrot whatever Trump is saying, but he will try to communicate it in a way that is more professional. That's it. Okay? That's it. That's it. I mean, look, yeah, he's like, oh, Russia is scared. Lindsey Graham says he told Trump that his interaction with Zelensky was the best television he's ever seen. I think that Moscow was more afraid than ever. Why would Moscow be afraid? Like, I think... Yeah, here, look at this. Big shit from Lindsey Graham on Fox just now. He said he doesn't know if Zelensky is redeemable. The question for me, for the Ukrainian people, I just don't know if Zelensky can ever get you where you want to go with the United States. Either he dramatically changes or you got to get someone new. He wants...
I just think there's no way the president could have signed that deal, given the way he and JD and...
Like, this man has been literally up Ukraine's ass before. Like, in the Obama administration, him, John McCain, Amy Klobuchar, they would do these joint, like, foreign policy link-ups in Ukraine. He has stood in front of, like, the Azov battalion and shit. You know what I mean? He is the guy who very famously said under the Biden administration that, you know, this is a great deal for 5% of our military budget. We eradicated 50% of our foreign adversaries' military. Like, he is pro unlimited arms to Ukraine. So how is he? What is he doing here? What's going on here?
In our country were treated. I don't know if you can put it back together. I don't know if you can repair the damage. And I've busted my ass to try to help Ukraine to make sure we help them win a war that would, you know, get this war over in a way that we don't have further aggression, and Donald Trump's the man to do it. I told him this morning, I told him, don't take the bait. Don't let the media or anybody else get you into a argument with President Trump. What he's doing today is resetting the relationship. You should be grateful. Now, whether or not we can put this back together, I don't know. But Zelensky's going to be on your network tonight. If I were him, I would profusely apologize to the way he treated our president and the vice president in the Oval Office and show a little bit of gratitude for what the American people have done.
Senator, how does Moscow and Putin look at this?
I
just insanity. Complete insanity.
Very much appreciate the agreement because we needed what they had, and we're treating, you know, our country is now treated fairly. Biden didn't do that. He didn't know what the hell he was doing. This should have never happened. This should have never started. But, you know, sure, the answer is yes, but hopefully we won't have to send much because I'm looking forward to getting it done quickly, very quickly.
Does that mean you'll provide security guarantees, Mr. President?
I don't want to talk about security yet because I want to get the deal done. You know, you fall into the same trap like everybody else. A million times you say it over and over. I want to get the deal done. Security is so easy. That's about 2% of the problem. I'm not worried about security. I'm worried about getting the deal done. The security is the easy part. Security is very nice. Everybody stopped shooting. And now will Europe put people there? I know France is going to. I know the UK is going to. I know other countries are going to, and they happen to be right next door. We haven't committed, but we could conceive.
Saying security is the least consequential aspect of Russia's invasion of Ukraine is insane. No, man, that's the whole part. That's the entire story. It's not 2%. It's 200% of the story. What are you saying? He wouldn't have to grovel on his hands and knees over here if security was not that big of a issue. Trump is just laying out openly what the relationship between America, the American master, and its foreign puppets has always been, albeit kept usually behind closed doors. No, exactly. But I think that revealing this power dynamic is scary for one reason and one reason only from my assessment. And that is that America is moving into a new direction in terms of how it handles its foreign allegiances. America is moving in a more ruthless and more honest direction. And I think that that will make Americans in general, more violent, okay? That will make America more violent. That will make America's allegiances harder to deal with. Okay? It's turning. We're moving into the next phase of our dying empire. That is what I'm seeing. And it's a scary play. It's a scary thing to examine.
You know, we have security in a different form. We'll have workers there.
No, not an isolationist. No, fuck no. Yeah, isolationist. That's why Donald Trump wants to buy Gaza. That's what you do when you're an isolationist. When you're an isolationist, you continue along with the previous administration that you quote unquote hate, right? You continue along with the agenda of the previous administration to add permanent security assurances and maybe even standing U.S. military to the state of Saudi Arabia, okay? When you're an isolationist, that's what you do. You give them nukes or you move along with the nuclearization of the Saudi grid and also simultaneously offer additional security assurances and potentially even more military troops presence there, okay? When you're an isolationist, you also continue along with the previous administration's agenda of sending billions and billions of dollars of arms to Israel. When you're an isolationist, you actively say the cartel is now known as a terrorist entity, so you can actually drone strike willy-nilly the fucking American southern border, okay, and beyond. When you're an isolationist, you say you're going to invade Greenland and you're going to annex Canada and that Canada is the 51st state of the United States of America. None of that is isolationist. No. That's why I'm saying American foreign policy doesn't change. It just gets worse and worse, more and more violent. Okay? How is any of this isolationist? It's not. It's just a more honest form and perhaps more violent form of imperialism. Bro, I was so wrong about you and a lot of things. I have a lot of learning to do, but I'm trying my best.
Digging, taking
Literally everything you said is isolationist. Wait, what? I don't think you understand what the English language, like the dictionary definition of isolation is. If you think that more troop presence all around the globe is isolationist, or annexation of foreign land, sovereign nations is isolationist, you don't understand the word. You don't understand any words, as a matter of fact. Open the schools!
We can create a lot of great product in this country. So in that sense, you have something, but we haven't determined that yet. I will say, in speaking to France and in speaking to, and they were here, as you know, last week and just the other day, they have committed to a lot of security. I don't think you're going to need much security. I think once this deal gets done, it's over. Russia's not going to want to go back, and nobody's going to want to go back.
President Zelensky is shaking his head.
When this deal
no
ends, I really
Mr.
believe
President.
this deal is going to be over.
Question?
Please go ahead.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you so
Mr.
much.
President, thank you.
Thank you.
Macron and Keir Starmer at the White House this past week, both of whom praised your courage and conviction to lead the pathway towards peace.
Yes.
Part of that involved, though, re-engaging Russia in diplomatic relations, something that previous leaders lacked the conviction to do so. What gave you the moral courage and conviction to step forward and lead that?
Well, I love this guy. Who are you with?
One American News, sir.
Well,
Oh my
why
God!
I like him.
He
One
skipped
American
over
News.
CNN's Caitlin Collins to respond to One American News Glaze Suckfest. Oh my God. Oh my God. Dude, this is a mockery, okay? Yes, access journalism has been the meta for mainstream press for the past multiple decades at this point. There is no more adversarial journalism, but this is, once again, a new level. This is Modi shit, dude. This is straight up. This is like, dude, they're gonna have the Nelk Boys in there. I'm telling you, Nelk Boys are gonna be in the building. Nelk Boys are gonna be a part of the goddamn press pool, being like, Mr. President, what's your favorite flavor of Zin, sir?
Does a great job. I like the question. I think it's a very good question. It's a pathway to peace. It's a pathway to getting something solved. And I feel that as the head of this country, I have an obligation to do that. Plus, we're very much involved. We got involved. It's too bad we got involved because there should have been no involvement, because there should have been no war. And there shouldn't have been October 7th. That would have never happened. As you know, Iran was broke. They had no money to give to Hezbollah. They had no money to give to Hamas. They were stone cold broke. And then under Biden, they became rich as hell. They went from no money to $300 billion in a period of 4 years. And they gave a lot of that money away, and you see what happened. And that's a real mess also that we hope to be able to solve. But no, I appreciate your question very much. I feel I have an obligation to try and do something to stop the death.
Mr. President, if I can answer.
President
Yes, if I
Zelensky.
can answer.
Please,
Sorry.
go ahead.
Please.
And I do like your clothing, by the way.
Yeah, really?
Even though I think he's
Yeah,
a great guy,
yeah.
by the way. I don't know if you two like each other, but you know what? I think
No,
he's dressed. I think
why?
he's dressed
I like this
beautifully.
guy. I don't know
I think
him.
he's dressed beautifully.
So I have more. I have more serious things than answer on such
Yes,
question.
that's a
I will
good-
answer on more serious
good
question if
statement.
I can.
Yes.
Yeah. So please, about security guarantees and about just ceasefire. We can't just speak about ceasefire and speak and speak. It will not work. Just ceasefire will not never work because I'm like a president. I have this experience, and not only me. Ukraine before my presidency from the 2014, Putin broken 25 times. 25 times he broken.
Trump doesn't like that. Trump does not like that. Don't talk shit on the big dog, okay? Dude, don't do it. Don't do it. He is not liking that at all. Do not bring that up. Oh, my
25
Lord.
times he broken ceasefire.
But he never broke to me. He never broke to me.
No, you were the president.
He
You
never
were the
broke-
president. You never broke to me.
Oh, that's it. Nope, it's over. Okay, that's it. That's the breaking point. He broke the ceasefire agreement while you were president. Done. It's done. All of a sudden, okay, Krasnov activation code. Suka bliat. Beep, beep, beep. That right there is the breakoff point, because that right there reminded Donald Trump of all the times where he felt wronged by Zelensky, okay? All the times where he's like, who the fuck do you think you are? This has, in some ways, I think that if it wasn't Donald Trump, but still like a brash and bold right-wing reactionary administration, the way that they would handle this, the outcomes would still be the same in terms of like, mineral deals and bringing Russia to the table, whatever. But the ways in which Donald Trump is communicating here is unique to him, because he is a incredibly narcissistic person who also happens to like authoritarian strongmen. Okay? That's it. He likes Vladimir Putin. He likes Xi Jinping personally. He likes Putin personally. He likes Kim Jong-un personally. He liked Duterte back in the day. He likes those guys. He likes Erdogan. Okay? I'm telling you right now, he likes those guys and he hates Zelensky because he feels wronged by Zelensky. And for this reason, for this insane reason, he's just like, oh, this over. I'm going to directly shit on you. He likes Modi too. Oh my God, he likes Orban. God damn, there are so many authoritarian strongmen. Holy shit. I feel like with the exception of like Western European liberal capitalist nations who Trump hates because they're an extension of the Democratic Party in his eyes, and Zelensky also fits that bill as well, because, they're also an extension of the Democratic Party in his eyes. There are a lot of leaders and more leaders that Donald Trump likes. Anyway, let's continue.
In 2016, you've been the president, Mr. President. You've been the president, but he had, of course, not with you, but he had, during those periods, he had conversations with our side. And we had Normandy format, the France, Germany, Ukraine, and Russia. And he broken 25 times. That's why we will never accept just ceasefire. It will not work without security guarantees. Security guarantees, maybe President is right about this document and other, but this document is not enough. Strong army is enough, because his soldiers afraid, Putin's soldiers afraid of our soldiers when we're strong enough. If we are not strong enough, if we are empty, if our storage is empty, we can't defend our land. Today, he knows that we have all the world knows that we have meeting. Yes? Why he's using ballistic? Putin today using ballistic on our hospitals, schools, and etc. Ballistic. So he knows that we are here and that President Trump is really have goodwill to stop this war. And you hear now the president. So why he's using? So he doesn't want to stop. He doesn't want. But I hope that we will do it. Really, we'll do it. Security, when we speak about security guarantees, when the Europeans are ready for contingents, they need USA backstop. If there will not be United States, we will not never have any contingents, strong contingents from the Europeans, because they don't want to divide alliance connection between the United States as the main and strongest ally and Europeans. And this is crucial. This is important. That's what we want to speak about very much. This is very important. And air defense. So air defense, really, we have big deficit with all these systems, and we need to provide this. We need it very much. Otherwise, Putin will never stop, and will go further and further. He doesn't want. He hates us. It's not about me. He hates Ukrainians. He thinks that we are not a nation. He thinks, and he shared these thoughts. I think maybe with your team also. I don't know, but with all the Europeans, in media, official and not, he always said that there is no such country, such nation, such language, such life like Ukrainian. No, he really doesn't respect all the Ukrainians, and he wants to destroy us. And you are right, Mr. President. That's 2%. This document, maybe other documents, it's a very good start, very good, but it will not enough to stop this person.
Should Russia pay to rebuild Ukraine?
Mr. President, under these
Should Russia pay to rebuild Ukraine?
They have to pay. This is the rule. This is the rule of the war. This is the rule of the war. During all the centuries, all the history, this is the rule of the war. Who began those?
By the way, every single thing he said in terms of Vladimir Putin, okay, not caring about Ukrainian lives or even caring about Russian lives, or even the fact that he is supposed to pay reparations is 100% correct. Okay? Make no mistake. It is 1,000% correct. So there is zero things that he said there that is wrong. The problem here is Donald Trump doesn't like that at all because in his mind, he thinks that Zelensky should shut the fuck up, bow down, and basically say Vladimir Putin is, his hand was forced to invade Ukraine because of the liberal administration's incompetence or something. I don't know. I suspect that that's what he wants. Has it ever been the case that the victor pays reparations? I mean, it's not, you could consider it not reparations, but even like rebuilding. I mean, America did fund the rebuilding of Western Germany. They did. America rebuilt Japan. We did the Marshall Plan. So yeah, even in that situation, yes. America was supposed to also pay reparations to Vietnam, which they never actually followed through on, and that's why they actually created the POW-MIA movement. But that's a totally different story. When it comes to European partners, at least, yes. When it comes to the global South that we dominate and destroy, no. Look at Haiti. Haiti literally was forced to pay reparations after the successful Haitian Revolution to France. Vietnam did not get their reparations either. They made up a totally fake, nonsensical bullshit reason for why they could not pay reparations to Vietnam after destroying that country for 20 years. Afghanistan never got reparations either after invading Afghanistan. And not only that, but also once we handed over the Afghan state back to the Taliban, we then also seized their assets that we were maintaining to the tune of billions of dollars. We froze their assets. Biden did that, by the way. The Afghan thing. So sometimes yes, sometimes no. The major difference here, I would say, is that Ukraine is a European nation. That's what's so unique about the new phase of American empire, is that we are doing this to our Eastern European allies. Remember the difference, like America after the war on terror that destroyed the Middle East, turned around and had the audacity to say, look at what Russia is doing. This is so different. This is so different than like what we've seen before. This is a European country that's being destroyed. What is this, Syria? This is not Syria. You can't just destroy Eastern European nations like this. So for a lot of people in Europe, the dynamic is different. That's why the way that they presented it in the initial phases was the burning of the Eiffel Tower, things of that nature, like all those ads that they had.
Pay.
Do you agree,
This
President
is the rule.
Trump?
Putin began this war. He has to pay all money for innovation. He has to pay. Of course, some Russian assets, what we have in Europe, about 300 billion, we can use them. We can use for innovation and buy military support from the United States also. We can do it, but it's not enough. It's not enough.
President,
I ask
under
this
these
question that you
circumstances, do you
didn't
envision
like,
a trilateral summit
because
with
I
Putin
wanted to
and
know.
Please, wait 1 second.
I asked this question that you didn't like because I wanted to know if you want to position yourself in the middle between Russia and Ukraine or on the Ukraine side.
I'm in the middle. I want to solve this thing. I'm for both. I want to get it solved. And it's wonderful to speak badly about somebody else, but I want to get it solved. If we can solve it, great. If we can't solve it, they're going to have to fight it out, and who knows what's going to happen. but I want to see it get solved.
May I follow up? One more question about U.S. troops in Europe. After Russian invasion of Ukraine, your predecessor sent additional troops to Eastern Europe, including Poland, my country. Yeah. Are you committed to keeping these troops on the eastern flank of NATO in the future?
I'm very committed to Poland. I think Poland has really stepped up and done a great job for NATO. They, as you know, they paid more than they had to. They are one of the finest groups of people I've ever known. I'm very committed to Poland.
What about Baltics?
Poland's in a tough neighborhood, you know.
What about the Baltics?
Dude, that's a crazy thing to say next to Zelensky. Yeah, Poland is in a very tough neighborhood. I'm sorry, dude, but you know, that's the only thing stopping any kind of empire action coming from Russia at this stage is just straightforward their inability to do so. Okay? That's it. They just can't do it militarily. I mean, look, they with enough American weapons and American training and Western weapons and Western training, they did successfully stop the further incursion of Russia. Every step of the way, there should have been a ceasefire and a, you know, security assurances, a ceasefire, and normalization of relations, all this stuff. But goddamn, dude, it is. I said this before, like America will just fucking sell you down the river every single time. Holy moly.
The Baltics, they got a lot of, it's a tough neighborhood.
Why Russia with ceasefire? What do you mean? Dude, do you think that like there is no attrition on the Russian side? Like, are we crazy? Is that what you think is going on? This is why I said the end of this ceasefire, if Ukraine had more people that they could just like throw into the front lines, I don't think Donald Trump would be pushing for a ceasefire like this. I think that Donald Trump, well, no one would be pushing for a ceasefire in the way that Trump is pushing for a ceasefire. But if the end of this has always, the end of whatever happens in Ukraine was always going to be dictated by the front lines, okay? That's it.
But we're committed. We're going to be very committed, and we're committed to NATO. But NATO has to step up, and the Europeans have to step up more than they have. And I want to see them equalize, because they are in for far less than we're in, and they should be at least equal. You understand that? Why is the United States, we have an ocean in between, why is the United States in for so much more money and other things as Europe? With that being said, and as you said, they've also been obviously very helpful. But we have put in far more than they have. And I think they should equalize.
Mr. President,
please go ahead.
Ask you about the agreement again today. What changed between the first time that Secretary Hassan gave President Zelensky the agreement and today for the signing?
We made a deal. So
what was the difference?
I'm just,
deciding factor?
I'm a business person. We made a deal. That's what changed.
A lot of those minerals.
I didn't think we were going to make a deal, and we ended up making the deal. So that changed.
Mr. President, when and how do you envision a trilateral summit with President Zelensky and Putin?
I don't know, but well, they don't like each other. I can tell you that. Okay, they do not like each other. This is not a love match. And
I wonder if people will recognize why I say America bad all the time and then describe the steps in great detail as to why America bad in terms of foreign policy all the time. Maybe they'll come to that conclusion as it's unfolding in front of our eyes. You know what I mean? This is literally the 20-year process between like Afghan Civil War, Operation Cyclone, Afghan Civil War, USSR invasion of Afghanistan, and then all the way to 9/11, except it's happening in a matter of years, like in such a shorter time frame.
It's unfortunate. That's why you're in this situation. The United States should not have allowed this to happen. Okay? The United States, run by a man that didn't know much, I'm going to be very nice, run by an incompetent person, very incompetent person, should never have allowed this to happen. I've stopped wars. I've stopped many wars. My people will tell you, I stopped wars that nobody ever heard about. I stopped wars before they ever started. You can look at some of, I could give you a lot of nations that would tell you right now they were probably going to war. I could tell you right now there's a nation thinking about going to war on something that nobody in this room has ever even heard about. Two smaller nations, but big, still big. And I think I've stopped it. But this should have never happened.
Sorry, just a second. About any negotiations. First of all, I want really to tell you, and I think that everybody understands that.
I wish Zelensky would question Trump with, then why are you giving money to Israel? Dog, do you want them to kill him? Like in the room. He's not going to say that. What are you, crazy? By the way, a big part of why this also accelerated, a big part of like America's allegiances with Ukraine kind of fell apart, even under the Brandon administration, is directly because we shifted our priority and our resources, which are at the end of the day finite. Okay, it's not infinite, it's vast, but our resources are still finite. We've switched our priority to Israel.
Ukraine, more than Ukrainians, nobody wants to stop this war. But at the future, any negotiations, it's understandable that two sides of the war, not Russia and the United States.
He'll only use Israel as an example of like what should happen to Ukraine.
This is war of Russia against Ukraine and Ukrainian people. So these two sides will be at the anyway will be at the negotiation table. Then of course United States, like the strongest partner of the Ukraine, and of course Europe. I think Europe is very important. I want to speak about it with the president. Yes, Europe is very important for us because we really defend Europe for today. All Europeans really recognize that we are defending the line, and they have real life, and our people are dying. That's why they helped us.
Oh, look at his face.
Also, it's about the NATO. Yes, between, like the president said, you have big, nice ocean. Yes, between us. But if we will not stay, Russia will go further to Baltics and to Poland, by the way. But first to the Baltics. It's understandable for them because they've been in the USSR. You know, they've been one of the republics of the USSR, and Putin wants to bring them back to his empire. It's a fact. And when he will go there, if we will not stay, you will fight. Your American soldiers, it doesn't matter, do you have ocean or not, your soldiers will fight.
Mr. President, would you be willing to visit Ukraine, maybe Kiev or Odessa, which is going to be a third year of the Black Sea?
It was my question.
I'm sorry.
I don't want to talk about Odessa now. Let's not talk about Odessa. I want to talk about making a deal, getting peace. We don't have to talk about Odessa, but a lot of cities have been destroyed. There are a lot of cities that are not recognizable. There's not a building standing.
No,
and a lot of things
Mr. President, you have to come and to look. No. We have very good cities. Yes, a lot of things have been destroyed, but mostly cities alive, and people work, and children go to school. Sometimes it's very difficult. Sometimes closer to front line, children have to go to underground schools or online. But we live. Ukraine is fighting, and Ukraine lives. This is very important. And maybe it's Putin is sharing this information that he destroyed us. He lost 700,000 people, 700,000 soldiers. He lost everything. Yes. So.
Mr. President, when did you last speak
on the minerals deal?
Mr. President, when did you last speak with President Putin, and what did he say that
a couple of days ago.
And what did he tell you that gave you the assurance that he wanted peace?
Well, that's what I do. My whole life is deals. I know pretty good. And I've known him for a long time. I've dealt with him for a long time. He had to suffer through the Russia hoax. You know, Russia was a hoax. It was all Biden. It was nothing to do with him. So he had to suffer through that, and he was able to do that. I think that he wants to make a deal, and he'd like to see it end. That's all I do. That's what I do. My whole life, that's what I do, is make deals. And I'm in the middle of a mess, because this is a real mess. It's a very dangerous one. If this doesn't get solved now, it's not going to get solved for a long time. So I hope we're going to get it solved. In the back, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Prime Minister Starmer claimed repeatedly that his government believes in free speech and was not engaged in censorship. But his country's government arrests people for memes and thought crimes, and even
oh my God!
Pressuring
get these,
American
dude, get these fucking
to
people out of this
censor
room, bro.
Americans on its behalf. How can he be a reliable?
Dude, it's a clown show. It's a fucking clown show, dude. This is the most unserious. Like, who this guy is this a TikToker? Like, who the fuck is this guy? Why are there podcasters in this fucking room, man? What are they doing? This is a very serious conversation that is supposed to be taking place right now. And you got a bunch of fucking right-wing podcast dudes being like, oh, Mr. President, DEI equals die, don't you think? Like, what is going on? What the fuck? He's like, Keir Starmer said that he was, in favor of free speech, but he's actually killing Christians. What are your thoughts on that?
Trustworthy partner when
you can't be serious, yo. Bro said thought crimes, dude. Thought crimes. Like, this is Sargon of Akkad now in the press pool, okay? What the fuck is going on? I'm losing my mind, dude. I mean, this is next level. It's always been non-contentious for the most part, but goddamn, we have moved into the next level here, okay? In terms of like how insane and how devolved American foreign policy is, how insane and how removed from reality we have become.
Says things that are demonstrably false on such an important topic.
Well, we actually spoke to him about that yesterday, and we thought they took it very, very much too far. JD was very strong on it. So was I. So was Marco. And we've been speaking to him about it. Marco, would you like to say something about it?
We have concerns, obviously, with the conduct of those, particularly as it impacts Americans. And there's real concern that American speech, which is online, could fall into the hands of British or any country's jurisdiction. And so this is a point the Vice President made at Munich, and I think it's a very compelling one, that what unites us with Europe, as much as anything else, is these shared values, and one of them being free speech. And so if Americans are threatened by it, we're going to need to take action in that regard.
JD? It's actually a very important question.
We spoke about this in detail with the Prime Minister, the Foreign Secretary, and others at lunch yesterday. And I know that Secretary of Commerce Lutnick followed up in private meetings last night. This is really important. We believe Americans have the right to speak their mind, even if we in this room disagree with them. They have the right to speak their mind in the public square, which is often online these days. And we're going to defend that right as it pertains to American companies and American citizens vigorously if we have to. I do think that under the President's leadership, we're going to find common ground with our friends in the UK on this question, but it remains to be seen. The principle that will guide us is we believe in free speech in this country, and we'll fight for it for American citizens.
Mr. President,
Mr. President, oil and gas component to the deal? Is it all critical?
A little bit. We'll see.
On LNG?
But we're not really looking for that so much. We got a lot. We have more than anybody in the world, by far. So no, we're not talking about it too much, but a little bit. I think it affects also, but for the most part, no.
And sir, is there any agreement from Ukraine to purchase U.S. LNG as part of the deal, or is that on the table at all?
No. We don't need that.
Some of those minerals are in the east, Mr. President.
You just mentioned that you'd spoken to Vladimir Putin a couple of days ago. Just to be clear, that's a new call, not the one that you were
I've spoken to him on numerous occasions.
Okay. And how was the latest call? What did you discuss? How did it go?
Are you serious with that question?
I am. I'd love to know.
It went well. I think we're going to have a deal.
On the minerals deal, Mr. President, some of those minerals are in the east of Ukraine, not far from the front lines and in areas that Russia has occupied. Will you direct President Putin to withdraw his forces from those areas if there's U.S. interest there?
Well, we'll take a look at the time. We have a lot of area. It's a very big area we're talking about, so we'll take a look. I'll study that and I'll see.
And who would protect those minerals if they are U.S. interests? Would that be Ukrainian forces, European forces?
The agreement will protect them.
U.S. forces?
Agreement, yeah. We're signing an agreement.
Right, but what if Russia tries to invade or there's Russian aggression in those spots? What would
I
you do
just told
then?
you I don't think that's going to happen. And if that were going to happen, I wouldn't make a deal. If I thought that was going to happen, I wouldn't make a deal.
Some people may wonder why.
You know, they ought to focus on CNN on survival, not asking me these ridiculous questions.
Why you have confidence that Putin won't violate a
Focus
deal?
on surviving, because CNN's got such low ratings. I don't think they're going to survive.
People will ask why you have confidence Putin won't violate the deal.
I already mentioned Poland.
He's dunking on CNN as an institution.
Russian
Like that is
control for decades after the Second World War. When I was a kid, I looked at the United States not only as a most powerful country, richest country in the world, the country that has great music, great movies, great muscle cars, but also as a force for good. And now I'm talking with my friends in Poland, and they are worried that you align yourself too much with Putin. What's your message for them?
Well, if I didn't align myself with both of them, you'd never have a deal. You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, "Hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal?" That doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America and for the good of the world. I'm aligned with the world, and I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous.
Yeah, I wonder why he hates Putin, man. Come on, dude. What the fuck? Zelensky, why do you hate Putin? Why won't you align? Why won't you align with him? You fool. Marco looks like a little kid after his first communion, waiting to take pictures after Mass. Yeah. Little Marco is sitting there just being like, I never, I wish that I always dreamed of getting to this position. I just never thought that the monkey's paw would, curl and offer this position to me under this administration. You know what I mean? He could have been doing this shit for Jeb Bush, okay? He could have been doing this for Jeb Bush, which the outcome overall would not be all that different. It's just that he wouldn't have to sit there and have to play catch up and have to play defense for Trump's insane, unforced errors over and over again.
Tremendous hatred. And I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way. So that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
Hey, I want to respond to this. So look, for 4 years...
Shut up! Shut the fuck up! Who are you? Who the hell? Who brought this man here? I don't know who this guy is. Do you guys know who this guy is? I have no idea. Who is this man? Whose mans is this? Who is this? Oh, my lolly looking ass motherfucker. Who is this guy?
The United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden, of thumping our chest and pretending.
Okay, by the way, the reason, I'm dunking on Jorkin the penis Vance over here, but, Jedediah Vance. But this would be the normal Republican way of having this conversation. And even then, it wouldn't even go this far into like dunking on Zelensky. But if you want to understand what like the normal Republican position would look like, it would be much closer to what J.D. Vance is saying and very far away from the way Trump is presenting it. Because he, after all, is, Peter Thiel's blood boy and still is supposed to be the normalcy force in the admin.
That the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's
But because he's still glazing Trump, he's going to still, you know, obviously say some unhinged shit in a second.
what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied it, our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now the President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact line?
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2014.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was,
he killed,
I was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly
but,
right.
Dude, it also is kind of shocking. I do still sometimes get surprised by how little Trump knows. And one of the funniest parts of this was when he literally said, like, what is AUKUS? Like the other day. Bro, you were the president for 4 years. You're the president again. Yesterday, a journalist asked what's the latest on AUKUS, and he didn't know what it was. And this is yet another moment where he's like 2014, 2015. Well, I wasn't president. Like that is truly, truly incredible.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you are not strong...
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the President for trying to bring an end to this.
You should be thanking the president. God damn, dude. God damn.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is.
He's like, I'm on Reddit. He's like, excuse me, I've watched it. I've watched and seen the stories. By the way, this is where Republicans are OP, okay? Can you imagine Kamala Harris saying some shit like this? Not about Zelensky, but like about when a reporter says like, why haven't you been to the border? And she turns around and goes like, I have watched and seen stories on Instagram. Like, they would literally make shish kebab out of her. Republicans would just destroy her. But when Republicans say it, it's like, when Republicans say it, everyone's like, hell yeah. That's pure projection of strength, sir. That's right.
Bring people, you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
God bless.
You don't know that. You don't know that. Oh man, it's getting contentious.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on this
position to
question.
dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly what
this.
I'm not
You're in
dictating.
no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
You
We're
will-
going to feel very
you will
good.
feel influenced.
We're going to feel very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influenced.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself
very-
to be in a
from
very
the
bad
very
position,
beginning
and he
of the
happens
war.
to be right about
From
it.
the very beginning of the war.
You're not
Mr.
in a
Brown,
good position.
Like what a they're mad that what like Ukrainian soldiers could not survive getting shot or getting shelled. Like, is that what the problem is here? Like, how are you gonna get mad at this dude, bro? Beyond the fact that it's pure partisanship, okay? That's it. Ukraine backed the wrong partisan horse in this process. And for Trump, who is a simpleton, it is not seen as like a uniparty objective for the State Department and for the military industrial complex. For him, it's just like Ukraine is a libtard shit, okay? Ukraine is liberal nonsense. I don't care. And they also did not help me when I demanded that they give me blackmail on Joe Biden. So now you're cooked. I will never forgive and I will never forget. That's his assessment here. But I think that is, yeah, Kissinger quote moment, Hassan is right. Okay. What did Kissinger say? It's bad to be America's enemy, but it's really bad to be America's ally. Doors open. It's fatal to be America's ally, some along those lines. To be America's enemy can be quite dangerous, but to be America's ally is fatal. It wasn't Henry Kissinger that said that, but it's the shit that they attribute to his foreign policy. Obviously, I don't think he would openly say that. Kissinger is the reason why the quote is true. I think Kurt Cobain said that. Wait, I don't know who actually said it, but Kim Jong never getting done like this. I'm dying. Brother. This is, I think this is all theater for Trump to justify giving Ukraine weapons, but then he looks cowardly. He looks like he backed away. He got pushed aside by Zelensky. You will feel in time, is Zelensky threatening the U.S.? No, I get what he's trying to say. He's trying to do the Israel line. You know, Israel is the first line of defense against scary Muslims. Okay? That's why it's a very important ally for us. Same goes for Ukraine. Ukraine is the first line of defense against scary Russian forces overtaking the entirety of Europe. Communism, that sort of thing. Okay? It just doesn't work this way. It doesn't matter when Donald Trump sees it as a purely partisan issue, when it's not. It's a bipartisan process for America. Like, under normal circumstances, this conversation would not be as contentious because the contentious moments would be behind closed doors. It would not be in front of a press pool. Okay? I need you to understand this. The major difference here is Donald Trump is actively being like, I don't give a fuck about soft power. I don't give a fuck about diplomacy. I don't even care about making it seem as though I'm in line with like Ukrainian emancipation or any of those interests. I don't care about the morality of it. I'm America. You're going to shut the fuck up and you're going to do my bidding. Okay? JD misunderstood his point and thought it was a slight at him, and now he's trying to be a tough boy. Because, like, he was already doing ass kissing. He thanked over and over again the Trump administration. Like, what more can he do? What more can he do? Under normal circumstances, these contentious moments, like Nikki Haley would never call Zelensky a dictator. President Nikki Haley wouldn't have this moment. But if you think President Nikki Haley would not also actively work on the mineral deal, okay, and actively work to seize more Ukrainian assets, you'd be wrong. That's precisely the reason why Biden was also trying to cut those deals as well. But this difference in attitude, this openness about American ruthlessness, this openness for American brutality is a change of pace. And it's not simply left alone on the optics front. This actually means that America is just no longer trying to even do soft power under the Trump administration.
You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having
not
cards.
playing cards.
But right now, you
I'm
don't.
very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're gambling
I'm
with
the
the lives
president
of
in war.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War III.
what do you
You're
speak about?
gambling with
What do you
World
speak
War
about?
III. And
Okay.
what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's
with
back
all
to you.
respect to your
Far
country.
more than a lot of people said
wearing
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you
Oh.
once? This
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in
Oh.
October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States
what
of
you're speaking
America
about.
and the president who's trying to save your country.
Oh.
Please, you think that if you will...
Bro, they're going to kill him. They're going to kill him, dude. Dude, I'm telling you right now. Okay, look. I think I think he's going to go back and some fucking Azov freak is just going to kill him with a black sun tattoo, and then they're going to be actively aligned with the Trump admin. I don't know how that allegiance works, but this is insane, dude. This is actually insane. They're just gonna let it happen. First of all, I need you to understand, right now, the entire coalition forces within Ukrainian boundaries are kept together because they all want to actively fight against Russia. Okay? Understandably. But it's not like these guys are all fond of one another. Zelensky is Jewish. Okay? There's a lot of fucking neo-Nazi forces out there who have gotten even more radicalized in the process, understandably, as when you get invaded, as I correctly predicted, you don't end up denazifying a country, you end up Nazifying the country. The most nationalist paramilitaries will be seen as the bravest, boldest warriors, the emancipatory forces. I'm worried that one of them is just going to fucking murk this dude. Like, all you're doing in this circumstance by undermining Zelensky this way is making him lose his position of prominence on the Ukrainian side of politics. It's ridiculous. Oh. Literally everyone is uniting because of this. Ukraine is fully behind him. If everyone kills him as Putin with USA intel, literally everyone is uniting because of this. We'll see. I hope not. Putin never said he was denazifying Ukraine. Yes, he did. What are you talking about? He said it over and over again. It was fucking bullshit.
Speak very loudly about the war.
He's not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country is in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No.
Can
You've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of
we are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this cabinet.
We gave you, through
I
this
said thank
stupid
you.
president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and your
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about
if,
West
if you didn't
You
have our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
You invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like.
God damn. This is the most. This is crazy. This is the craziest shit. I think this might be the craziest moment of the Trump administration so far, and it will most likely be topped tomorrow or the day after. We're a month and 8 days in. We are 1 month and 8 days in to the motherfucking Trump admin, dude. This is insane. We're not even 2 months in. This is 1 month in, dude. I don't think any heads of state has been put through anything this humiliating since Genghis Khan put kings in cages while fucking their wives and daughters in front of them. I mean, this is a shockingly bad display. A shockingly bad display. It is an active cuckening happening in real time.
Like this, I tell you.
Just say thank you.
I said a lot of times thank you to American people.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's very important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the cards.
Thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying. You're running low on soldiers. Listen, you're running low on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing. And then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I wanted this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take.
Like, even if this conversation was taking place behind closed doors, where Ukraine basically got geared up with all of the European support that it got into thinking that there is like still a process where they can continue defending the existing Ukrainian territory and maybe even cut side deals with European allies to forcibly send back the Ukrainian men, like the refugees that live in Europe, in an effort to, basically bring up their ranks so that they can utilize the existing weapons that are being shipped in from the pre-existing security cooperations, pre-existing weapons deals, okay? Even if that was the case, even if there was a back and forth for that reason, behind closed doors, the fact that this is happening in broad daylight in front of a fucking press pool, live streamed to the entire world, is legitimately shocking. Now, every single European leader, understandably, is going to come out against Donald Trump and come out in favor of Zelensky in this process. But ultimately, considering America's position as the leader of the Western coalition, the Western forces, as the hegemonic superpower, all of those leaders have actively said, we will defend Ukraine, but it doesn't really matter because if America doesn't actually follow through on security commitments, then us sending forces will not do anything. Keir Starmer has said that. I don't know if the EU in and of itself, especially when Trump is also looking to make Europe poorer with its fucking tariffs, is going to be able to have active security commitments that they follow through on with Ukraine without American military support. Do you understand? Like, all of this stuff makes it seem as though if you guys have a bit of guts, you would say something to Trump and Vance. No, exactly. Dude, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I feel like Trump is just like, I don't know how Trump is going to dig himself out of this in terms of like American standing with the rest of America's vassal states in Western Europe. Like, how do you fix this? How do you go back and if all you do in the Trump admin, the reasonable heads in the Trump admin, the reasonable hawks in the Trump admin are constantly playing catch up and playing defense for the insane shit that Trump says, you can get away with that when it's in the direction of American foreign policy in terms of saying like, no, I'm going to do ethnic cleansing in Gaza. You can say that if you're Trump, and then Steve Witkoff will come out and be like, he didn't mean it. What he actually meant was, we're bringing our, We're bringing our Arab allies to be more active participants in the rebuilding of Gaza. Like, look, that's why he said that. Like, you can kind of defend that because the Gazan population is voiceless, vulnerable, and being ethnically cleansed by Israel, our ally. But when you turn around and renege on all of the economic harm that you put Europe through by forcibly telling them to cut their existing energy deals that they had with Russia as a consequence of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, okay? And then turning around and being like, actually, fuck all of that. Fuck you guys. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to say about it? Like, what is Europe going to do? What can Europe do? Let's say they want to rebuild their own militaries. There is so much runway. There is at least a decade of industrial buildup that must happen for them to actually get to a point where they can competently defend Ukraine or even themselves without the United States of America. Okay? They've existed under the security blanket, under the American security blanket, and have, existed as functionally vassal states. It would at least take 5 years, if not a decade, okay? Like, the second largest standing military in NATO after the United States of America is not France or Germany or any number of different countries. France's NATO allegiances have always been on shaky ground regardless. It's fucking Turkey. It's not Poland. It's Turkey. That's the second largest military in NATO. It's Turkey. And we all know the Turkish-European relations, okay? It's just like, this is totally insane.
Take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
With guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't with me.
For you what,
that
what
wasn't
this
with me.
means.
That was with a guy named Biden who was not a smart person. That was with
Bro, I'm serious. I'm serious right now, straight up. If I'm a European leader, I'm learning Mandarin, okay? Straight up, as quickly as possible, okay? Ursula von der Leyen, time to learn Chinese, buddy, okay? Straight up. Like, how the fuck would I'm learning Mandarin pronto, okay? It's time to go to the Chinese league, all right? The NBA is not cutting it. You're not cutting it in the NBA. Get ready to learn Chinese, Ursula von der Leyen. EU High Representative for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, Kasia Kallas, says, Ukraine is Europe. We stand by Ukraine. We will step up our support to Ukraine so that they can continue to fight to back the aggressor. Today, it became clear that the free world needs a new leader. It's up to us, Europeans, to take the challenge. Hasanabi Doctrine, part 2. I will cop to this. I will cop to one thing. I did not think that Donald Trump would actually actively undermine NATO. And I think he is doing that. Okay. I think this is, and I think he's not even doing that because he just has like a legitimate plan to dismantle NATO piece by piece. I think he's doing that because he just keeps flying off the fucking handles here. And he does not know how to behave like a normal politician. Straight up, pure ego, and also dick riders that are supposed to be the normalizing voice in the room. But even he's got the long red tie. Look at him. He looks like it looks like Bring Your Child to Work Day. He just looks like a fucking fatter Eric Trump or Donald Trump Jr. in the room and not coked out.
President, it was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama.
I've often made fun of France because obviously, you know, they deserve it. But goddamn, dude, making sure that you have your own nuclear arsenal and pulling out of NATO before and having a consistently contentious relationship with NATO. What did they know? What did they know? Okay. Yeah. What did they know?
Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make, because the attitudes have to change.
What if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do we do then? I understand that.
By the way, low key, Hasanabi doctrine, don't give up the nukes, is literally the reason why this is happening. I know that you'll say, oh, those were USSR's nukes. They didn't have the active launch codes or anything like that. Yada, yada, yada. Doesn't matter. Okay. Don't give up the nukes. You know what the Hasanabi doctrine is, but I will repeat it for those of you who do not know. Okay. Don't give up the nukes. Don't ever give up the nukes. And if the United States of America says you have nukes, then you better fucking find nukes immediately. Okay? Rule 1, get nukes. Rule 2, do not give up the nukes. Rule 3, if you're accused of having nukes, drop everything immediately and find some nukes. Straight up. Hasanabi Doctrine, a guide for nation building. Yeah, do not give up the family atomics, dude. Yeah, also the other Hasanabi doctrine that I'm that I'm putting on here is time to learn Mandarin. Learn Chinese. Don't give up the nukes. Get the nukes. Learn Chinese. Can you elaborate on the third rule? Yeah, it's called the Libya rule, okay? It's called the rule of Libya. Look at Libya. Look at the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. You will understand the difference between the two countries, okay? Or Iran, even. I call it the Libya rule.
What are you saying?
She's asking what if...
Or Iraq, but like, that's a little different, you know? Also referred to as the WMD rule. Exactly. Weapons of mass destruction, yellow cake scandal. But it's not, you know.
Russia breaks the ceasefire.
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now? Okay? What if they broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia.
I'm sorry. What is going on? Ah! What is happening? He's crashing out. But look at him. Marco Rubio's face. Bro, Marco Rubio hit the blinky, okay? He hit the Antonio Blinken face fucking 35 days into the administration. You're supposed to get to this stage when the decrepit carcass old man is constantly going, I saw dead babies, Jack. He's hitting fucking levels of Blinken that I did not think you would get this fast. That's crazy to watch, dude.
Agents. The whole thing was a scam, and he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right.
That is 49 minutes of Kino in terms of watching America almost single-handedly over the course of like a 90-second back and forth completely changed the trajectory. Okay? We have accelerated. Here's what happened after on CNN. Trump huddled with his key advisors immediately afterwards inside the Oval. According to a White House official, Trump consulted Vance, Rubio, Bessent, etc. That was when Trump decided that Zelensky was not in a place to negotiate. He directed Secretary Rubio and his national security advisor, Mike Waltz, to deliver the message. It was time for Zelensky to leave. The Ukrainians were holding nearby in a separate room. That's standard for foreign visits. Typically, they reconvene for lunch, but the Ukrainians would not be dining at the White House. As the prepared food sat nearly on carts in a hallway, the Ukrainians were instructed to leave. The White House official said that the Ukrainians wanted to continue the talks, but they were told no. Zelensky left shortly thereafter. Here's what one White House advisor said, by the way, to Dave Weigel. What did y'all think America First meant? Vibes, papers, essays? Now, what's crazy about this is that they're still trying. One, they're fucking memeing through it, which is insane. But what is crazy about this is that not only was this spectacle incredibly embarrassing for the United States, okay, but it also is not, I wouldn't say this is in the interest of the American military-industrial complex. Okay? Like, the trajectory of the Ukrainian ceasefire process is dictated on the battlefield. Okay? So some of the things that Donald Trump was saying, which he's not supposed to be saying out loud, he's supposed to be privately conveying by way of Marco Rubio, and I can't believe I'm saying this, maybe Pete Hegseth, but he is also not the right guy to convey this message, though. It's supposed to happen behind closed doors in terms of like, hey, we have all the intel. I'm telling you right now, you do not have standing in this position. Like you do not have enough people to continue fighting against Russia. This is why we're trying to, put a stop to it. And in the process, because we're the big dogs in the room, you're going to give us, all of your natural resources or the remainder of your, publicly owned sectors that we've gutted, and we're going to pick it apart for pennies on the dollar with foreign capital. Okay, that conversation is not supposed to happen in broad daylight. That conversation is supposed to happen behind closed doors, and then it's supposed to be leaked to the media, and then I cover it, and then all of the fucking NATO Andes and whatnot come and yell at me and say I'm an Alex Jones-style conspiracy theorist. But because of Trump, it's happening in broad daylight, and it's happening in a way that might actually damage the ceasefire negotiations. Like, even if Donald Trump wants to force Ukraine's hand to get to a ceasefire, he's not supposed to say it like this. Okay? Under different circumstances, this is supposed to happen behind closed doors. Like, there's a reason for why. There is a reason for why this kind of stuff happens behind closed doors, is because you actively are dismantling a very important part of your foreign policy strategy. Remember, what do I always say? 800 military bases without soft power will turn into 800 military invasions. Okay? With soft power, 800 military bases are a part of a security cooperation. Without soft power, 800 military bases is no longer a part of a broader security cooperative agreement, but instead 800 different invasions. Okay? And I don't think this was a well thought out thing that Donald Trump did. He's just a narcissistic child. And instead of like actively trying to push Ukraine into some kind of negotiated ceasefire where they will put an end to this bloodshed, he is undermining the own ceasefire agreement that he could have possibly put together. So he's getting in his own way this way as well. Background of what just went down per White House official. After the contentious Oval Office meeting that played out in front of reporters, Zelensky and the Ukrainians went into a separate room, standard, while Trump huddled with his advisors. At that point, Trump decided that he didn't feel Zelensky was ready to negotiate and that the conversation wouldn't be productive, the official said. Trump posted a statement on Truth Social, and then Rubio and Walz then informed Zelensky that he was being asked to leave and the negotiations were over for the day. The White House official added that this was not planned in advance or part of a broader strategy, but just simply how the day played out. Oh my God. I truly thought that what would have happened today initially was just like they get, they do a little back and forth and then they sign the fucking mineral agreement. And then, a week later, Trump comes out with the, continued support for Ukraine tweet, whatever the fuck, while also simultaneously saying, but obviously Ukraine's manpower is exhausted and we want to put an end to this. But the weapons transfers that we are going to engage with are obviously going to be a part of a long-standing security assurance for Ukraine as we, pick it apart for scraps. That's what I thought would have happened. And I think that's what was supposed to happen. But, fucking Donald Trump is insane. Zelensky didn't read the room. It's his fault. No, dude. No. That is crazy. Putting this on Zelensky is insane. I'm sorry. You are out of your fucking mind, dude. What are you, Lindsey Graham? No. There is nothing he could have done in that situation. Nothing.